You're listening to Sydney Live 3 till 6 with Ben Fordham. Thanks to Audi Pennant Hills and Audi Artarmon. Your next Audi now has the sporty edge with drive-away S-Line deals.
We love you, Audi, in case we don't tell you that enough. 131873 is my number. Ben at 2gb.com if you want to drop me an email anytime. There are certain things that certain people do which I am just naturally curious about. You know what I mean? I mean, you meet people who do different things in their day-to-day life, and some of them sound really interesting and others not so much. And not that we tell the people who have got things that don't really sound that interesting that we don't find it interesting, but when you bump into someone who, say, for example, is a spiritual medium, if you're like me, you go, oh, I've got 1,000 questions to ask you. Well, this afternoon, I do in fact have a spiritual medium with me in the studio. Her name is Christine Morgan, and she's not just any spiritual medium. She's practiced around the world for a quarter of a century. I don't want her to sound old because she's not, but she's been in this industry, if you can call it that, this sphere. I'm sure she probably doesn't use the word industry, but she will correct me as soon as her microphone's on. From the United States of America to England to Australia, and today she is here in the studio to tell us about her work, which I am deeply intrigued by. Christine Morgan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
I'm guessing it's not an industry. Are you going to tell me it's not an industry?
Unfortunately, it's becoming an industry, but no, it's not an industry.
But it's become an industry.
Yes, it has, unfortunately, around the world, because our work has become so diluted and commercialised, and actually it's quite a sacred, reverend thing.
So the people who are on TV doing those shows, spiritual medium shows like John Edwards, is that diluting?
No, I have no problem with people like that. They're very definitely, genuine mediums and do a very good job, and they make an awareness of the other world as well as what we are. When I say dilution and commercialism, it's because I don't like it personally being called an industry.
All right. Well, I haven't seen one of you, a spiritual medium, perform live.
Right.
But my mum and my sister went along to John Edwards when John Edwards was in town.
He's fabulous. He's a great medium.
And they came back from it. They went, listen, you might be skeptical or whatever, but this happened and that happened, and he said this and he said that. It seems a lot of people who go along and witness this stuff, even if they go in cynical, there are always seem to be a few incidents that occur which leave people speechless or unable to explain what happened.
Well, that is because it's a real world, Ben. It actually is a world within a world. So, there's no heaven, no hell. We live in their world as much as they live in our world. And once you lose that physical husk, that physical body, the spirit, the mind that is eternal actually exists just within another frequency of vibration, another dimension. And people like myself who have abilities to be able to tune in and to actually understand that are able to communicate with those people. Though I must stress to you, we don't call up the dead because the dead are not dead. The spirit, the mind, the personality moves on into another frequency, another higher vibration of another world. But actually, it is a world within a world. It's just a different level of vibration.
Is this everyone? Is this everyone who passes away on
Doesn't
Earth?
matter if you're a Catholic, a nun.
And their spirit remains, but it's on another level.
That's right. It just moves to another level of vibration.
Okay. And are they presumably, when these spirits are on this other level, are they interested in reaching out to us? Are they trying to reach out to those of us who remain on the earth, or are they happy being in their own space?
Some of them are, especially if they want to be around loved ones and want to be remembered. Because one of the things that I'm actually very passionate about is education and taking away the fear of this. Because a lot of the reasons why we have communication with the spirit world is to help us understand life in the bigger picture. People seek me out when they've lost somebody or they want communication. And for instance, I work with a lot of families with youth suicide. We have one of the highest levels and percentage of suicide in Australia, which is really quite sad. I also work a lot with families who have lost children, and I don't have children myself. So people seek me out for comfort, grief, aiding support in that time. But one of the things that we have to remember is that we don't call them up. So it is up to the family member in the spirit world if they want to communicate with me. If they wish to communicate, they will make themselves known by giving some form of evidence. But as I'm talking to you, I'm very well aware of two people from the spirit world who want to communicate. And I'm quite comfortable you can say yes or no to me.
Yes.
Because I feel absolutely confident in what I'm doing.
Sure.
And I trust my work.
So there are two people in the spiritual world who want to talk to me.
Absolutely.
Now.
Yes.
Tell me.
I will tell you, I have a young gentleman that's made himself known to me. And I won't say too young. I'm not going to give you an age. I know probably... Look, I'm going to say 40s or 50s. I could be a bit older. But he was related on your brother's side of the family, your father's brother's side of the family. And he would have been quite a bit like a mate to you, but he's blood related.
Okay.
And he was quite sick before he passed.
Yeah.
And you would have had a lot to do with him when he was younger.
Okay, this is on my father's...
It's your father's brother's son.
Yes, father's brother's son. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he was ill before he passed. He wasn't able to express words or communication for quite some time because of his illness. There was a deterioration of different organs around him, so he actually passed a little bit quicker than what people thought. He wasn't able to live his life to the fullest.
Well, I can tell you, I think you're probably talking about my cousin Andrew, and he passed away from...
Well, don't tell me. Don't feed the medium.
Okay.
Oh, don't feed me, because I know also he's come in with a lovely lady called Anne, who actually is part of your family as well. He's related to Anne. Anne had a very traumatic passing from what I'm being made aware of, but I know they've come together holding hands, and so I know they're both here around you today. She is closer in blood than what your cousin is. So I feel like I want to say to you, this is an aunt. It's a sister of your father. Or I feel if I'm correct. Is that correct? Your father, sister,
No,
mother.
She's my mother's sister, my auntie Anne.
Okay. Forgive me. It's got to be one or the other, hasn't it? Well, okay, because I know they're both together. But I know she comes around you very strongly. I know that she is with this young man, Andrew, who it was a very traumatic passing, because you would have had, if I'm correct with you, what I'm seeing with you is there's a lot of childhood memories and growing up memories, because I feel you're more like a mate with him.
Yeah, that's right.
You were. I want to.
No question.
I want to nudge your elbow and say mateship.
Yeah.
And I know that he's come forward with this lovely lady. This lady had a very tragic passing.
Yeah.
It was very quick. It was quite shocking for the family and quite distressing. And I know that she is around at the moment. And I know that I want to say to you that they have seen the baby.
They've seen the baby.
They have seen the baby. I love this lovely gentleman called Andrew who's coming in, this cousin. And as he talks to me, one of the things I do want to say to you is that if I was to say to you in your younger days, he said you were a wild child, but you'd never admit it.
Oh, no, that's probably right.
And with him,
I wasn't as wild as him.
That's right, because he's making me aware of this. He's making me aware of your personality. What you see, it's his memories he's impressing me with, Ben. And what he's doing is just making me aware of these memories. And he's calling you a wild child, but I feel like I want to really laugh with you. So I know that he may have been your cousin, but he's someone you could go for a drink with, have fun with, or go out with, because he's just bringing me a beer. And when he calls you wild child, he's hitting you with a beer bottle, because he remembers, clinking beer bottles together.
Yeah.
He remembers nights out together.
Yeah, well, we've certainly done that.
And I just feel very strongly that he comes in with Anne. Now, Anne.
Well, I should just tell people.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. I know that you're on a bit of a wave here, but the two people in my life who I think you're referring to is my cousin Andrew, who we lost at a young age in his 40s last year through motor neurone disease, and my auntie Anne, who passed away in the last couple of years as well, and she also died suddenly. So while they are not related, because one is from my dad's side of the family and one's from my mum's side of the family, they certainly knew each other and certainly loved each other.
No, yes, but they're still related to your family.
Yes.
So what's happened is as I'm working with you, the spirit world are drawing very close to me with that vibration and making me aware that they're there.
Oh, well, if you were trying to make the hairs stand up on the back of my neck, you've done it. Christine Morgan, thank you so much for coming into the studio.
Thank you.
ChristineMorgan.com.au. If you'd like to get in touch with Christine Morgan, I'm blown away.